Okay, so good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Um, Nice to have you guys around for this Thrive edition, the 41st chapter of Thrive with Babs, 41st chapter, and we are looking at what makes you tick or what makes me tick. That's the topic we are looking at today. I want to explore what you are powered to do, that thing, that particular thing or set of things that you are powered or you are empowered or you are packed to do. That is the topic we are looking at today. And I hope it's a very short session. It's not because this to the extent that we're going to have a very robust session in this particular one would be uh, as we are also willing to engage the topics, to engage the questions, and share our own individual experiences. It's a very short presentation, but what will make it very robust and very rewarding for all of us who are participating is the extent to which we're able to engage the discussion. So, what makes you tick? When you hear the word, what makes you tick? What comes to mind? Anybody willing to share with us? Oh, this thing makes me tick. Or, is anybody willing to share with us what you understand by what makes somebody?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please, Julius.
Good, good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I would say what makes you unique or what makes you special
Yeah,
or what differentiates you from the others or what do you do differently that makes you different?
okay. Thank you very much for that, Julius. What makes you special? What do you do differently? What makes you unique? Or what you do, that is different from the ways others do things or the ways, what others people think or do. Is anybody willing to also share with us what do you understand by what makes you tick? Anybody willing to share with us from their own understanding about the topic? What makes you tick? So, well, maybe we still recall to Julius. So, Julius, if somebody was to ask you what makes you tick, what will you tell the person? Since you are, you are, what make you tick as a person?
ah, well, the question is sudden. I don't know how to maybe blow my own trumpet because that's what it would be tantamount to. What makes
Mm,
me different?
mhm.
Well, I can't really answer
Okay,
that.
well, there's no how you will have to blow your trumpet in answering the question, or you will have to disclose what makes you tick. Because I think like two or three episodes ago, we discussed a very fundamental question: Who am I? Who am I? And this is the sequel to that. I think after that session, we had another topic we discussed, the last drive. And this, what makes you tick, is a sequel to Who Am I? It's a sequel to Who Am I? And just like we usually do, these are some of the topics that we've considered or discussed in the course of Thrive. These are topics that we've looked at. And if you see, we talked about who am I, and this who am I is a very, what is that is the most difficult question anybody can ask. Who am I? The most difficult question, the most uncomfortable question anybody can ask is, who am I? Who am I really? Because most of us, don't like to beam that searchlight on ourselves or the spotlight on ourselves to actually highlight or pontificate what makes us, what makes me human, what makes me justify the calling by which I'm called as a person, a Nigerian, a professional, I mean, whatever it is. No, I mean, those questions, when you ask some of those very soul searching questions, I mean, it can be very uncomfortable to actually answer them because I mean, so that is who am I, and now we are now looking at what makes me tick, what makes me tick, and as we proceed into today's discussion, okay, and this is also one of our intro slides about the justification for the literature we use for Thrive, even though this one, I mean, we will not have to make any recourse to the Bible, but maybe I may just have to be referred to it from time to time, maybe in the course of my own discussion. But Thrive, I resource to quotes what authorities, leaders, thought leaders, and philosophers and people who are much more, I mean, gifted, who understand life more than I do. I've said about certain things and scenarios and phenomenon about human existence, and we also use that in addition to what we reference in the Bible. And so, to look at this recap of our last session, I said it's a very short, maybe like if we remove this intro session, intro slides, maybe we'll have like 2 or 3 slides in all, because it's supposed to be a very interactive one where we also be able to engage one another, engage your own mind, engage your inner self, and come up with okay answers to some of those questions that maybe you've not asked yourself before, that you've been asking and then you just maybe dismiss. So, to recap the last session when we looked at how do you create and exchange value, we asked a $1 million question. And that question is, I don't know, does anybody remember the question we asked when we were talking about how to create and exchange value? Anybody willing to share with us? What is the $1 million question? Anyone among those who were here? Going, going, gone. Okay, so the $1 million question that we asked, which led to other questions that we also now asked, was what do people want? What do people want? Because the idea is that if we are going to create value, we are creating value for who? For people. You are going to exchange value for monetary returns. You are exchanging value with who? With people. So you've got to know what people want, and that is the $1 million question. What do people want? And then after that, we looked at some takeaways from the Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. And we know we examined the pyramid of needs itself, and then we looked at okay the various layers of those needs from the very basic, which is at the bottom, to the very height of it, which is at the height of self-actualization. And we looked at that. And then we also now attempted to answer the question, what do people want? And we had this long list of what we know or what we feel people want. And I think other people also added their own contributions to this list. I know primarily people want to live, people want to be happy, people want to make money, people want to feel good about themselves, people want to look good in the eyes of others, people want to feel that they are making a difference, people want to feel valued and appreciated, People want to feel important, people want to feel loved, people want to feel respected, people want to survive, people want to feel safe and secure, people want to be listened to, people want to enjoy, people want to laugh and be merry. Some people want to experience pain. Funny, but some people actually desire to experience pain. And the list goes on and on and on and on. But these are some of the things that people want, as we established in the last chapter of Thrive with Babs. And then we also looked at the value exchange quadrant. When we look at the quadrant that we use to determine, based on my own as a person, on my own personal um, perception of what people need, what gifting, what skill, what expertise do I have that I can turn to a value for people to, in answering this question or in providing to meet these needs for to live, needs to be happy, needs to make money. What are the solutions I can provide as a person? And how do I start to process that? And how do I start to actually also exchange it for value, for money? For not even be for money, maybe for just for fulfillment of my heart, that I'm making a difference. So we look at the quadrant that will help us to be able to process the response or the answers or the insights we have from that session into a value exchange, a value exchange system where we can trade off what I have in order to get some returns in terms of money, in terms of votes, in terms of whatever it is that I may desire, patronage, purchasing, value exchange, value derived, and everybody is happy. So we look at that quadrant, and I hope, because these videos are now available on YouTube, that maybe some of you guys would go there and then maybe we you can recap some of those discussions we've had, and then maybe just to get yourself refreshed and refired for what you need to do next in creating and exchanging value. Now, for today, our pause and ponder points are taken from a book written by James Allen. James Allen is credited to be the father of self development. He's the one that, not that he started it deliberately, but his books, his thoughts were what sparked the self development, personal development, all this career coaching and all that, the movement. He was an Englishman, he's dead now. But his most popular book is most, and it's free. Any of us can pick those, we can download it anywhere if you just search online. It's a very short book, but very profound. Very, very profound. It's titled As a Man Thinketh. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Very profound book, very short, maybe like 20 pages. But that book, you read it, your life will never be the same again. Is that profound? And no, some of the things, some of the quotes in that James Allen's As a Man Thinketh is classic. Two of them are what we are going to use to we are pondering upon as we start this topic today. And it says very, very true that circumstances do not make the man or the woman, they only reveal him to himself. Circumstances do not make anybody. They only reveal who we are to us. Your circumstance does not make you. Your situations does not determine you. It only reveals who you are to you, how you how you approach life, how you take situations, how you interpret things, how you respond to things, to situations, to developments, to circumstances. So circumstances do not make anybody. They only reveal the kind of person we are to us. And that is what James Allen said in that his book, As a Man Thinketh. And then he also says that men do not attract that which they want. but that which they are. Men do not attract that which they want, but that which they are. Now, it's saying two things that seem to be different, but actually connected. Circumstances don't reveal, don't make us. They only show us the kind of person we are. Pressures, let's even use financial pressures, financial struggles. Somebody who is having financial pressures, financial struggles, is not necessarily a poor person. That sounds contradictory. It's not necessarily a poor person, but the way the person who is having financial struggles, financial difficulties, the way that person live is or alive, the way that person approaches the issues of finances, the way that person goes about doing what he or she does is what really shows us what kind of person this person is. Somebody may not have money in their bank account, and yet they are very rich in their mind. They are contented. They are not, they don't despair. They don't give up on life as if not having money is the end of the world. And they don't go about trying to steal money from people. When somebody who is facing financial struggles now, because out of desperation, now start to go to steal money, to lie to get money, to do things that are not right to make, we are now seeing a thief. We are seeing a fraudster. We are seeing a swindler. We are seeing a murderer if the person is even now doing rituals to make money. So can you see? So the circumstance of financial struggles doesn't determine the person, doesn't make the person. Is what the person does in that kind of situation now reveals who the person really is. Is the person really a liar? Is the person a truthful person? Is the person a honest person, an integrous person, or a liar, a deceitful person? That is what James Sanders is trying to tell us. And he knows that men do not attract that which they want, but that which they are. I think Jim Rohn also has a quote that's similar to this. We don't attract what we want. It is who we are what we are that we attract. What we are is more important than what we do. So men do not attract, and men is also talking about women. This book was published, I think, in 19, maybe 19, in the late 1920s or so. It's a very old book. James Allen says is dead now. I don't know, maybe it's the one that died in 1928, or maybe it's the book that was published in 1920. I know it's there's in 1920 something around this book as a man thinketh. I've read it like 3, 4 times. It's a very profound book. See, men do not attract that which they want, but that which they are. Because we are all magnets, we are all forces. We are all forces. Human beings, we are more than what we think we are. We are more than the way we see ourselves. We are a dynamo. We attract things into our lives based on the way we think, based on the way we reason, based on the way we engage life itself. Misfortune doesn't just jump, it's based on the choices, the decisions, the mistakes that we make that we attract them. Fortune doesn't also don't jump on somebody. It's based on our choices, our thoughts, our action, our disposition, our attitude. Those are the things that determine what comes to us. Now come to what makes me tick, or what makes you tick. The same way that by circumstances we, I mean, we are not determined, but we are revealed in the way we respond. Circumstances can also help us to what? To reveal to us what makes us tick. So it's not just on the negative side alone, also on the positive side. Through circumstances, we can get to know this is what makes me tick as a person, as a professional, as a business person, as a ministry person, whatever it is that you call yourself. Because how will you know this one is what makes you special if you are not doing anything? There's no special indolence. I'm just special because I'm doing nothing. I'm this thing. I'm taking this thing because no. It's those circumstances when you have to apply yourself, when you have to do things that you need to do, when you have to walk the walk, when you have to talk the talk. That's what makes you. That's what reveals yourself to you. And then wow, oh, so I can do this and I can do this very well. And you now start to say that is what circumstances, developments, and situations actually help us to do to discover ourselves the more. And then we attract what we are because we are going to talk a little bit about our circles of influence or influence circle. What makes you tick also determines what come to your life in terms and in plural terms now. What come? What kind of money comes to you? What kind of people are in your cycle? What kind of opportunities life presents to you? Who you are and who you are. Once you know who you are and you know you're able to settle this, then it helps you to be able to control what circumstances now bring your way or what how you even respond to things when life doesn't if it doesn't seem to be going the way you want them to. So the question, what makes you tick? What makes me think? And I have heard that there's something you are powered to do, and that thing gives you a sense of power, gives you a sense of influence when you are doing it. Now, there's no way I don't know how many of us are in this on this call. I can't answer for everybody. Even if I have a blood relative here, I cannot answer for him or her. This is a question that everybody must answer for himself or herself. What are you powered to do? What is it that when you are doing it, you have this sense of power? You have this sense of influence. You have this sense of purpose. You have this sense of accomplishment, even if you are not being paid to do it. You ask yourself that question. That is what makes you tick. You are doing it, even if nobody is even saying well done. You are doing it because you enjoy doing it. You are doing it because it gives you a sense of control. It gives you that sense of power, that sense of superiority. What is that thing? You have to ask yourself that question. I know mine, but you have to ask yourself the question. What is it? And this thing can be another way for you to determine, to know your purpose, your calling, your assignment, or your mandate. It can be a key, another key for us. We've talked purpose copiously on private verbs. We look at calling, we look at assignment, we look at all these things. But this is just another angle to them, another way where you can just decide or center on what you are meant to do, what makes you tick. Now you can do a million and one things, but all of them will not give you that sense of power, that sense of purpose, that sense of mission, that sense of accomplishment, that sense of making a difference. So it's a question, as I said, that you will need to ask yourself. You have to do that introspection to know what makes me tick. What is it that when I'm doing it, I have that sense of freedom? I have that sense of power. I have that sense of control. I have that sense of accomplishment, even when I'm not being paid to do it, even when nobody is clapping for me for doing it, even when I'm doing it out of inconvenience to myself. I just do it and I flow in it. That is what makes you thick. You've got to know it yourself. And maybe you've not thought about it in this direction that, oh, this is what makes me tick. Now you've got to start paying more attention to it. You've got to start paying more attention to it. What makes you tick? I don't know if anybody would like to share with us what makes them tick now that, and we have maybe a bit of idea about what we're talking about. Anybody willing to share with us? Anyone?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I think now I can say that I find it quite easy
Okay,
to formulate my thoughts into words. I
beautiful.
can really compose. I find it very easy to do. If
Wow,
I'm thinking about something, there's a way I can maneuver words to just
wow.
uh, play it out. I noticed that about me.
Okay, thank you very much. You find it easy to express your thoughts in words, right? Now, is that
In words,
when you do it in words, is it in writing? Is it in
written, in
speaking?
writing, in
In
writing.
writing. Aha. But that is now bringing it home. You have to know what is it, which form of words. Words could be in text, which writing is. It could be in visual, which is design. It could also be in audiovisual, which is in. So, I mean, it depends on what. And do you know why? One of the challenges we have with this slide has been trying to pop itself. We have to shred certain blindfolds. See, some of us, we may not even have an idea about this thing, what kind of money can make us. But the point is that why we don't usually pursue or do much of what makes us tick is because we have some blindfold that are disturbing us. We are thinking, how much is it going to make me self? If I ask Julius, can you want to share with us, like, how much have you made from writing? Can you just give us an estimate?
Uh, Altogether, or the
Yes,
highest so
just
far.
we may not get the accurate figure, but
Uh,
just give us an example.
well, let's say like maybe like 100, if I'm
hundred
not
thousand naira. Yes,
100,000.
yeah. Thank you for that. Now, what is your own profession? What is your vocation, Julius?
I'm a teacher.
You're a teacher. Can you also
Yeah, I
give us an
teach.
example how
Yeah.
much you made from teaching? Just a rough estimate. We are not looking at the accurate figure.
Uh, well, it will be if I could say from when I started teaching, it will be
Yes.
well over it will be over 1 million.
Now, thank you very
Being
much. That's actually where I'm going. Now you see that Julius start to tick when he's writing, but Julius is a teacher, and the writing that makes Julius tick hasn't earned him so much money. But his vocation, his calling, his teaching profession is the one that is actually giving him so much more in terms of revenue. That is why one of the reasons we don't pursue this thing that makes us tick. Do you understand what I'm trying to say now? Because if you look as if this thing is inconsequential, uh, this one will not give me money. I won't make much doing this. But hey, it's a blindfold. And then we start to now neglect it. We start to relegate it to the background. And then we start to pursue some other things that are not really within our core of competence, our core of expertise that do not make us tick, but because they actually give us money, we pursue them the more than we are pursuing what makes us tick. It's a blindfold. And that is why you see that most people do not live up to their potential because your potential is in that thing that makes you tick. It may not produce money immediately, but if you keep at it, if you are good at it, if you continue to do it, it will earn you considerable money. And then we also have the pressures of bills. And these are real issues that we all face. I'm talking about I need to write. My writing is and then I'm thinking of views. And this writing I'm going to write now, I need to write this article for this guy. He will give me 200 or 500 naira. And I have bills of 1,000 naira. I won't think of the writing. I'll be thinking of how I'm going to pay my bill. What am I going to do? If I go and sell pure water on the road, if I go to maybe do something else, I will get maybe 2,000 naira. And then so these are very legitimate issues. Bills is a blindfold, and we don't look at what we need to do to make us tick. We are looking at what we need to do, what to pay the bills. Peer pressures. You have friends who have diverse interests or they are maybe interested in other things, and you are feeling like you are the lonesome among them. You are the only one whose interest is in writing when they are talking of singing. And we know with all the competition that are happening, I mean, all over the place, you see, good, the ultimates, I mean, all this competition, I mean, that are favoring singers, and you are a writer, and you are like, hey, I mean, nobody is even looking at the writer side. Let me just to start to sing, and then you allow peer pressure to sway you from writing to singing, blindfold. Family expectations. The family have expectations from me, and maybe I'm the firstborn in the family. I'm the head of the family. I have to provide for my family. I have to do this, I have to do that. And then there's something that makes you tick. But what makes me tick will not be able to, it will not put me in a position to take care of my family. I've got to think about my family first. And so I get to see what makes me tick, and I start to live on the survival lane so that I can at least make enough to take care of my family responsibilities blindfold, or trends that are happening in our environment, in our society. I don't know what is trending over there in Nigeria now. And it's trending, everybody's doing it, everybody's making noise about it. And then, I mean, what makes you tick doesn't seem to align with what is trending. And then you just allow that noise to drown out your special interest. Blindfold. And there are several others. You should know what it is that is distracting you or that is blindfolding you from doing what makes you tick. You should know what is it that is distracting me from fulfilling my potential, doing things that make me happy, make me extremely joyful. I feel this peace when I'm doing them. I feel this relaxation. I feel superior. I feel powerful. I feel influential. When you remove all these blindfolds, all these restrictions, all these hindrances, then maybe freedom is coming. And money is not paying enough. It will pay enough at some point if you keep at it. Bills, bills will always be there. Peer pressures can't do away without them. It's either you cut off your friends entirely, or you just know how to manage them alongside your own calling, your own assignment, your own mandate. Family expectations, even when you meet them, there will always be others. So some of these things, they will not go away. They will always be there. So you just have to work on yourself to do what you need to do. Why not neglecting what you ought to do? As Jim Rohn would say, do not wish it were easier, which you were stronger. Do not wish that it was easier, that no, maybe the problems you are facing are easier for you to handle. Wish that you are stronger, you have enough strength to tackle the problem. Do not wish for less problem, wish for more wisdom. Can you see profound wisdom? Don't wish it were easier, wish you were stronger. Don't wish for less problem, wish for more wisdom. Because all these issues will be there. What makes you think may not always give you enough money, but that's because of that you neglect it and then it goes away. Because at a point you will lose it if you don't keep doing something about it. The bills will not stop as you even proceed and grow and you advance in life. Bills keep increasing. That's the way it is. Peer pressures, you always have them. Family expectations, you always have them. Noisy trends, if it's not wanted today, to be another thing tomorrow. And those may not even be what part of what makes you tick. They will always be there. So, how do you thrive even in the midst of all these blindfolds, these so-called distractions? And as you start to round off, ask yourself these critical questions. What makes you tick? What do you do that makes you feel powerful? What do you do that makes you feel influential? That when you are doing this, you feel as if you are influencing, you can control things, you can control circumstances. The people in your life, in your influence circles, people that maybe you have in your circle, apart from your immediate family, who are they? What brought them to you? If you're a writer, writing makes you tick, or you're a speaker, speaking makes you tick. Who are the people in your cycle? Did they come to you because they like the way you speak? Because they listen to some of your sessions and they've been blessed by it? Then you get to know, yes, when I do this, I really, really am making a difference. I really am making a contribution. What brought them to your life? What makes them stay? Is it your writing? Is it your speaking? Is it your drama? Is it your technology? What is it that makes you think? What is it that draw people to you and keep them there? That's how you center on what makes you tick. I don't know if anybody wants to share with us from your experience, maybe in terms of any of these questions. Anybody willing to share with us, please, apart from Julius, who has been very, very generous in sharing tonight. Anyone?
Okay, yes. Good evening, sir. Good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening. Yes, good evening.
Yeah, okay. Answering the question, what makes me tick? For me, I would say is anyway, I don't know if it's possible to say that what makes us tick sometimes changes over time. I don't know if that's correct.
Sure,
But for
it
me,
can.
years back, it was writing for me. Writing, especially the motivational aspect of writing, that's one thing that comes to me easily. And whenever I'm giving out these things, it just makes me happy. And coupled with the responses I get from people, then over time that changed. It
Wow.
became designing, graphic designing for me. I could be on a design and I'll forget that I've not eaten for the whole day.
Wow.
I'll just be designing and be doing out. It might be my mom that will be like, you've been on these things since morning, have you eaten? And I'm like, and it's true, I've not eaten. So it just gives me joy because it makes me put my creativity into play. Then another thing is cooking. I enjoy cooking a lot. I love cooking. I try out a lot of things in the kitchen and all of that. And that pushed me to even create a YouTube channel, right? That's about just cook and I'll just be posting on my status and all of that. So designing and cooking currently, I would just say that the basic things that makes me tick right now. And the people in my circle, I got a lot of them from these things I do, writing and designing. That's how I got a lot of people in my circle. So
thank you very much for
and
sharing that with us. Yeah, please
that's
continue.
just that for me. Yes. So that's just it basically for me.
Well, thank you very much, Choma, for that. I mean, you can see just like Julius, Choma also started with writing, and from writing, then she transited to designing and cooking, and she can actually trace her power and influence, our influence cycles to this very important element or activities, cooking and designing. So if we're able to actually, it's a lot of introspection. You have to be somebody who is very studious, who is very observant of himself or herself. That's when you'll be able to, oh, yes, this is what makes me tick. When I do this, I feel this way. When I do this, I feel this way. I see myself this way. I see the world this way. Is anybody willing to also share with us, please, what makes you tick? Anyone? Anyone, please? Okay. I guess we only have people who are ticking here, so the rest of the people are not ticking. Okay. I think that actually is the last penultimate slide. We all also usually close with final thoughts, and still looking at James Allen. Uh, Very profound thoughts too. He says that a man only begins to be a man, and can be also be a woman, when he or she ceases to whine and revile and commences to search for the hidden justice which regulates his life. And he adapts his mind to that regulating factor. He ceases to accuse others. I think there's a letter missing. And as he adapts his mind to that regulating factor, he ceases to accuse others as the cause of his condition and builds himself up in strong and noble thoughts, ceases to kick against circumstances but begins to use them as aids to his more rapid progress and as a means of the hidden powers and possibilities within himself. Because most of us, we tend to look outward when we are not where we should be, when we don't have what we should have. We blame others a lot. We don't look at ourselves. So James Allen is telling us that, hey, as you begin to get introspected and start to ask yourself critical, hard, uncomfortable questions, that is when your freedom comes. That is when your success starts to happen. That it's not just in others, it's in you. The question you need to ask is in you. The cause of the problem you are looking for is in you. The solution is also in you. And it also says that a man has to learn that he cannot command things, but that he can command himself, that he cannot coerce the wills of others, but that he can mold and master his own will, and things serve him who serves truth. Things serve him who serves truth. That the person that is truthful to himself. We have things serving him. People seek guidance of him who is master of himself. Things serve him who serves the truth, and people seek guidance of him who is master of himself. But before you can get there, you have to learn that you cannot command things. You can only command yourself. You cannot coerce the will of others, but you can only mold and master your own will. And as you get to do that, as I said, this is a very short one. And no, it's to the extent that we're able to actually even understand and engage the questions that will start to center on those things that make us tick. Now I know that because of all of us will not have the same level of understanding, same level of actualization as human beings. Some are far advanced in self-knowledge and discovery than others. But wherever point you are, if you are the lower bottom, by the bottom of the stairs, or you are in the middle, or you are at the top, you should know that there is always something else to do. There's always something to add. There's always something to aspire towards, and that starts with yourself, with introspection. Why am I here in the first place? What brought me here? What do I need to do to move from here, where I am, to where I desire to be, or to where I ought to be? You should ask yourself those very serious questions. When you know who you are and you are answering, what am I meant to do? Then you should be asking, what makes me tick? What makes me feel superior, feel powerful, feel influential? And am I doing them regularly? To what extent am I doing them regularly? If I'm not, why? If I am, why? I mean, why still? And for me to move to the next level, what are the questions I'll be asking myself? What are the things I need to know? And how soon can I start doing them? And that is the final thought for today. As we always do, we have a community on Facebook, on WhatsApp, and as I said, even on YouTube. You can see all the previous recordings on YouTube, the ones that were recorded in audiovisual format. And then you can also check us on the website where you see, I mean, you get to see daily thoughts and maybe quotes that I share on the website based on my own engagement with life, what I'm learning, what I'm gleaning from others. And you see that also shared on the Tribe website. So, in conclusion, do we have questions, please? Questions? Anyone, please? Questions, questions, questions. Questions. Okay, that means the topic is, I was afraid that this topic may be a bit difficult to understand, but I'm glad that there's no question, because that means that is either most of us understand what we discussed, or we are still trying to even grapple with the extent of it. And that's one of the things. The topics we discuss at Tribe session are not your run-of-the-mill topic. They are not the things that you see in, they are not common, not in motivational, because they are not motivational talks, not in school because they are not scholarly taught as well. No, so I mean, it's a bit different. We are looking at life in its nakedness, in its ugliness, and in its beauty, and what role each and every one of us play in that in that life, in the beautification of it, and then the de-uglification of it, because we are not supposed to make life uglier than it is, but we are supposed to de-uglify life. And these are some of the things that we discuss at Thrive with Babs on a monthly basis, the last Sunday of the month. So if there's no questions, I want to say thank you to everybody for coming again today to this session. It's nice having you guys around. We'll see again in month of November. That's the last Sunday in November, where we'll have the next edition of Thrive.